Hey, in this video, we're gonna go catch up with Ryland Russell from Central Baptist Church. For almost the past year, they've been doing renovations on their 600-seat main worship center, and it's just about nearing completion. While renovations have been happening, they've had to pivot their main services to their 175-seat youth venue. We did a tour a couple of years ago with Ryland in what was basically their final iteration of their worship center before the renovations, and it was just really cool to see how he made all of that work in a much smaller venue. We're gonna kind of take a bird's eye look of everything in this video, and I'm gonna be referencing some much more detailed videos that he's posted on his channel about specific things. So be sure to head over there and give him some love and subscribe while you're at it. Without further ado, let's get into the tour.
Okay, so here at Central, we are a church that runs around 500 people or so on a Sunday morning, and our main worship center that we're remodeling is gonna seat 600 people. We'll still have 2 services in there. But we were faced with the dilemma of coming in here in this smaller space, which used to be our fellowship hall, that we remodeled to be our student worship space, and it seats packed out 175 people. So now we have 3 services on a Sunday morning. And when you come in a room like this, a big rectangle, not a big rectangle, a small rectangle, you're faced with like, how do I do AVL and still have it be dynamic and impactful and meaningful, but not distracting to the people that are here. So I can walk you guys through kind of the way that we've done that. We can start back here at the booths that we built. So this is not the ideal location for your sound booth in a room like this. You don't want it tucked away in the corner, but when you need seating and things like that, you just have to do it. So we had this sound booth and we built this extra one here. So what we do on Sundays is we have Pro Presenter op in this spot and then lighting op over there. And these are both volunteer positions and it's all pre-programmed, ready to go. So our Pro Presenter 7 position is unique because we run all of our tracks through Pro Presenter. So we actually build everything into the timelines of Pro Presenter songs. And that is playing a multi-channel audio file through our Focusrite outputs. And so we do one channel has click and guide and the other 2 channels are our stereo tracks. So that's all playing, all automated through a pedal that I'll show you on stage in a little bit. So Pro Presenter is running kind of like the brains of everything here in our worship center. So all of our videos and everything is being fired automatically. Sometimes through Companion, we're doing specific things where we might be able to fire a video that goes to our streaming audience that's separate from what's going to our in-person audience. And so all that's automated through Companion. If you don't know about Companion, yeah, definitely dive into that world. It's really powerful. Lighting is a very simple position in here. We have somebody that just presses the go button on our cue list. So everything is cue list based here on a Sunday morning. Literally our operator is just following this cue list, hitting play at the right times, and going to the next songs. And right now we have our house lights on, but we can turn those off and you can see we have different lighting looks and it's all programmed per song to go with our timelines. Now I could automate this and have it all be MIDI controlled and all those things, but I like having an operator here that actually, it's a great starting position for these people because all they have to do is click play. And so I'll turn the house lights back up. So that's our lighting and Pro Presenter positions. Now if we go up to the top booth real quick, it's a simple setup. And if you're a fan of Collaborate Worship, you may have found them because of the one and only X32. We love our X32 and it's been solid for us. So in this room, it works great and our operators are familiar with it. We had an M32 previously and we're going to the Wing ecosystem in our new space that I'll show you in a little bit. One unique thing that for a small space that I've really liked is this app that we use on our iPad called Audio Tools. And what this is doing is it's measuring the SPL through a microphone that's right here coming in to the iPad. It's called an iTest mic, and it is a calibrated mic. And so when music is going in the space, you can see the SPL being measured here. But if I get loud enough, you can see that it has a stoplight enabled. So if they get over 88 decibels here at the booth being measured here, then it's going to be going red. And so my volunteer operators kind of know that range to be living in. Yellow, we're happy. Red, ooh, if you peak at red, it's okay. But Audio Tools is cool. It's very cheap and it's really very accurate. And so that's a handy thing that you can utilize as well. Microphone systems, kind of boring, old Shure stuff. We're getting new stuff for this new space. Praise the Lord, these are 20 years old. And multi-view stuff. We will also have another iPad rocking with Mixing Station open as well. If you don't know about Mixing Station, you should definitely check that out. It's really powerful, because the problem of having a booth back here is that it sounds different in this little hole back here with a wall right behind you. So, they'll iPad control things and walk around the room. Definitely do that if you haven't. To be honest with you, we really only started utilizing this once we moved into the space. And it's like, why have we not been doing this forever? So Mixing Station for the win. This position is our teleprompter position and chat host position. So we have our stream hosting questions and prompts here. And then we do all of our encoding through Restream. I still do through Restream because the chat can come in from all of our destinations in one spot, and our chat host can chat directly with those people. And then they're doing this during worship and pre and post service. And then on this other screen down here, you'll see we have our teleprompting set up. And so they are running our teleprompter for our pastor that goes up to our confidence monitor up on the back wall. And so they're literally just following along with him. It may be verses. It's not word for word, but it's a lot of just prompts that keeps his head up out of his notes. And then whenever he's looking at these, it looks like he's almost looking into the camera for our online audience. And that app that we use, because people always ask me, is called Power Prompter. And he likes Power Prompter because you can do these different colors and bolds and different, more formatting of the text. And so he will actually build that prompt file on his MacBook and then finalize it Sunday morning, and then Google Drive it over here, and then we'll just open up that file and bring it into the prompter software. Something else unique in our booth set, if you're using Companion, we found really handy, is just using these emulator browser windows. And if we don't have enough Stream Decks currently, and so we just run this emulator for our Companion setup. This looks like a full-size Stream Deck, right? But then you have access to be able to do all the same things that you would normally do, but from just a browser window. So Companion, we made a big switch when we moved in here, since we now have a separate room for our broadcast, to move everything to Companion satellite instead of having Companion install on different machines. So we have one computer running the main Companion, all these others are running satellite. And then my favorite thing about all of this is now I can just pull open my phone anywhere I am in the building and do those same things with the shortcut going to a Companion emulator. So that's our sound booth, and there's a lot packed in here. So cameras set up in a space like this, you have to be a little more purposeful about placement. This is not the ideal setup. We have one big platform for all these cameras. You ideally want your operator separate, but for a short-term setup, it's been working fine. So we have 3 cameras set up right here and 1 operator. This is our Pastor Follow Cam for tight. It's a GH5 with a Canon 70-200. And then we have some other Panasonics over here. I believe the other one is a GH5 with a 35-100 and a GH4 with a 20mm for the wide. Something that's unique about this operating position is that while they're here during worship, they're adjusting our tight follow for anybody that's singing, but then also they're running our cable cam with this Tilta remote. And so we have our cable cam set up on the wall over there, which we can show you later. And they're controlling zoom and pan. So that way they can set up the new shot and then pan over and keep that person in focus and get the shot, and then they're done. So they go back out and get a different framing. And they're just able to be a little more dynamic with that shot instead of it just being locked off. And then they've also got, our camera ops also have these tally lights from Hollyland that we've had great success with. So if you're looking for tally, they're not the cheapest thing in the world, but they are a good budget-friendly solution. And so there's other really rinky-dink Raspberry Pi solutions out there you can get, but we've liked the Hollylands. So we're running 11 or 12 cameras. It's way overkill. We utilize a lot of wireless stuff through Teradek. The Ace 750s has been my favorite now, the Spark 750s. These can do 4K 30, so that's preparing us for our new space to be able to do 4K in there. All of our other cameras are the Panasonic line of cameras, whether they're a GH5, a GH4, a G85, a G7. They're all in that line of cameras, except 2, and I'll show you those later. They're still Panasonics. They're just a little little different line. So like this is just a locked off shot. It's got an Olympus, really nice lens on it. I think it's like 40 to 150. It's just locked off on one of our singers.
That's the same lens we have on our main camera.
Yeah, it's a great lens. And it's honestly kind of a shame that it's just a locked off shot. But it's a great lens. Coming up to the stage, you'll see some other cameras that we've got tucked away. So if you know me, I love to utilize like little motorized sliders like this, utilizing these little holes in our space to be able to throw a slider in there and get a side profile shot of our singers. It's just parallaxing back and forth. Budget-wise, I love to throw little lenses like these Mikey lenses on stuff like this because it's a manual focus lens. You don't need autofocus. And then whenever I power on the camera, focus is always set, ready to go, which you can do that with some of the other Panasonic style lenses where it remembers the focus it was on. These are really cheap and I can recommend them. They're a good brand of budget-friendly lenses. We've got a locked off piano shot here that's just affixed to the side of our piano, and it's got that same kind of budget style lens on it that's just manual focus there on her hands when she's playing. And then we also have another slider over here on the drums that is a GH4 with my favorite wide angle lens. It's a Laowa, I think it's a 6.5 millimeter lens, and it's rectilinear, and it's on this top rig S60, just looping back and forth and parallaxing, keeping our drummer kind of in the center of the shot. But you know, this is not a big space, and so you got to go wide if you want to be able to capture much of the drum set there. Another fun camera that we added in the last few months is our cable cam in here. And we tucked it over on the sidewall, and it is the Y-Roll Lite. It's a very budget-friendly cable cam, $350 I think. We've used it for years. Recently though, we upgraded the camera setup on it. So it has that DJI RS2, so the beefier version, but the older version. That allows us to have that wireless control through the Tilta remote. And then we're actually using a Panasonic S5 II camera on it with a 20 to 60 lens. The reason being is that we needed more low light capability because I like a higher f-stop on there. It is not a parfocal lens, but with the zooming in and out, we can't set focus remotely because I don't have another motor on it. But the S5 II has great low light performance, and it just looks great. It punches in nicely. And then wireless on it is the only one we're still using a really budget-friendly one on, and that is the Axoon CineView Quad. It has a little bit of latency, but for a wide shot like that, you can get away with a little bit of latency in the shot. So audio in this space, we had to find some places to make compromises to really make it work. We also have small groups meeting all around this area, and it's not the largest of rooms. So initially we had like this JBL JBL Vertex setup that was going to be huge in here and sound awesome. And then we flew it and realized like this is insane for this space. So we went with EV powered speakers. I think they're 15s, and they've sounded great in this space in combination with our JBL SRX subs that we have flown up high above. We made a custom sub basket to tuck those up high. And this place sounds really great Sunday in and Sunday out. Part of that compromise that we made was going with electronic drums in this space. So as much as I would love to have some beautiful cage in here and our great setup of DWs with heartbeat cymbals, it just would take up too much of our stage space. And so we went with electronic drums. I did custom load in our own samples. They're Austin Davis samples. And so that really helped us get better drum sounds. And the great thing about the Alesis set, as much as I would tell you it's not the best thing in the world, for the money it's great. You can actually load all those samples directly onto the brain and not have to have a separate computer or module or anything like that. So it served us well. My drummers hate the cymbals though.
Instead of getting into the weeds with all of their lighting in this video, I'm just going to send you to his video where he did a really in-depth look at all the fixtures that they have going on for stage lighting and house lighting. So if you are curious about that, be sure to go check that out.
So now, this used to be the most horrible looking closet that I'd ever seen. It was just chock full of cabling and mismanaged server racks and things like that. And now this is where we do our broadcasting from. So we have our multi-views stacked here, another TV there that has a quad view from Ori that we have our Mac Mini, and we're able to see another ATEM and Boxcast. So we stream through Boxcast for our multi-view production view that you can always see on our central production channel. And then we do everything else, our actual stream, like I was saying, through Restream. That's coming from our Web Presenter HD still. So we have one guy that's sitting in here, and he is running everything through our ATEM Constellation HD, and then our Stream Deck control is what he is switching everything through. So our companion is pretty well built out. So we have kind of like a home base here for all the different things, whether you're running audio, Pro Presenter lights. In here though, we're looking at the ATEM, and then he's got a couple different pages of when we're running different things, what he wants it to have on the screen. So we built out a lot of automations here to where, things that you forget, make sure and automate those. Like in Companion's great about that. You can automate our hallway TV system switching to the announcement feed from ProPresenter. You can automate the starting and stopping of your HyperDeck or your Web Presenter, things like that. So that's how we utilize a lot of that. And then just multi-action buttons that can do things. Now, next level would be sending like ROS-talk commands from ProPresenter to trigger a button press in Companion. We're not doing that yet in here. Charging bay thing here for our different batteries and cameras. This is one spot. We've outgrown this, but it's still functional for camera batteries, gimbal batteries, things like that. And then the last little area that we have stolen from the kitchen people is our basically staging area for all of our cameras. So I'll just show you our other camera setups here. This is one of our roamer setups. It is a Panasonic S5 II, and right now it's got a 50 mil on it from doing video announcements, but typically we're running either the Panasonic 24-105 f4 or most recently the Mikey 85 f1.8. And these cameras have such great stabilization that our guys can just handhold this. And we've just been using autofocus on it because it's got the phase detect autofocus now. On the other Panasonic cameras, the Micro Four Thirds stuff that's not like the GH7 or some of those newer ones, you can't really trust the autofocus. But this has been great. With our monitor here, the guys can just look at the monitor, and this is using the Teradek Ace 500 for wireless. And then this is our other roaming camera. This is a GH5 with a 35-100 on a DJI Ronin SC, so a little lighter gimbal. And they're just doing roaming shots in the back of the room if it's not packed with people, trying to get some of those dolly shots and things like that. And this wireless is using the Teradek A750 that we've been liking. And our final handheld camera is another GH5 with a 35-100. I feel like this is like the best bang for your buck, lightweight lens combo with camera. A used GH5 or GH5 Mark II with a 35-100. This is a 70-200 full frame equivalent. So that giant lens that's on our main follow cam, same thing, 2.8. Now the depth of field is half. So there's more in focus, which can actually be a good thing of keeping people in focus. And I love that it doesn't telescope the barrel when you're zooming. So this is just really easy. We have, young guys running these cameras. And then other than that, we run our headsets, communication, comm stuff is going to be the Ceramonic WeTalks. And so these all connect to a hub in our broadcast room, and they just all are wireless. There's no body pack. They just throw it on their head. Mic up is muted, mic down is talk. And in this space, we're able to leave them all down. The noise cancellation on them is decent enough to be able to do that. And I've not had that experience with all the comm systems I've tested. So we've been happy with those. They're not very expensive either when it comes to a comm system. All right, so this is the backstage area that is full of tables and ping pong tables and tic-tac-toes and baptistry covers and ladders. That's just the way it goes in a small church, right? So we have this one corner for backstage for the band. So we have all of our rack stuff here, our snake, our LED wall things, our house lighting controls, pegboard with some random cables, and then this is kind of our backstage vocals in-ear setup, and so they are actually coming backstage to control their mixes with the P16s. We don't have them out on stage, and then once we get them set, we just leave them, right? Unless something horrible happens, then you come back. We are using all rechargeable batteries. I've got a hodgepodge of different things, but I do like the Ansman brand. We've had great luck with those. We still have 9 volts for our handheld mics. And then if you really want to get crazy with it, we've got this Olight automated AA charger that you can fit 36 batteries in, and it automatically charges them and cycles through them, because like this little guy can only hold, 8 batteries, and you may have more than that. So, I mean, it works. It's okay. I don't know if I would buy it. They send it to me. And then I love the little shoe holders that you can buy for cheap, and we use these as our in-ear holders and label them, so that way it gets them up off of the cabinets. And that's about it for this space. All right, guys, I know it says do not enter, but we're gonna take you behind the curtain here into the Holy of Holies, the construction zone. No, I'll try to briefly tell you about our new worship center. All right. So I'm standing here in our new worship center, and it's gonna seat about 600 people. We got a lot of construction going on, the stage being put in. We've already done all of our rigging for lighting and put in stadium seating. This space was just kind of like your traditional Baptist church. Had a choir loft, had spots for orchestra and people on each side of the stage, and we've really gutted it almost and brought back in the way we hope to utilize the space the best way possible. So I have done a full video, a couple kind of walking through our process of the beginning stages of planning an overhaul like this, and then also like an update 6 months in and where we're at now and all the details. But this space has got full AVL going in. We're working with an integration company, and it's gonna be amazing. We're putting in Martin sound, we're putting in Unilumin LED wall, lots of Chauvet lighting. We got a full broadcast room that I'll go show you that's going in underneath our stadium seating, along with our current media booth. So I'm excited to see how this place is gonna turn out and be able to actually get to utilize it. So underneath our risers, we'll have 2 separate rooms, one for broadcast video that'll be tucked underneath these stairs, just redeeming that space basically, and then broadcast audio on the other side. And then our third space will be our rack room. You can see my video where I kind of talk more in depth about our decisions with designing that room. And one key is that it will have its own dedicated like mini split. That way we can climate control all of those areas separate from this big main gathering space and hallways that we have on its own AC and HVAC. And that's the thing about remodeling. Like there's so many different systems that have to play nicely together. And it takes a lot of planning, preparation, and then making sure it's getting executed the way that the plan is drawn up.
Anything new you got going on that you want to tell us about?
Sure. I mean, I'm always putting out content on the YouTube channel, guys. I'm all about finding budget-friendly solutions for my tech ministry needs and problems. And so I'm just kind of documenting my journey here, all the things we have going. And then on my YouTube channel, I actually just kicked off something called the Creative Crew, which is a YouTube membership for $4.99 a month. It gets you access to special live stream content that I do, a Discord server, and just kind of supports the channel and the efforts there. And I hope that just by seeing what we're doing here, the ways that I've learned to do things can encourage you to realize like you don't have to spend a ton of money to do great things for God's glory. And so you can come check out my channel and just say, hey, if you want to join the Creative Crew, great. No pressure. All my YouTube content is free because really at the end of the day, I just want to be an encouragement to people that are in the trenches like me doing this day in and day out. It's not easy, and sometimes you can kind of feel like you're on an island. And so maybe just by watching the videos here on Collaborate Worship or over on my channel or some of the other content out there, you just feel encouraged that like you can keep going. And I always try to end all my videos by just reminding myself and the people watching that the goal is like, I want to do great things, but it's all for God's glory. So at the end of the day, that's what the Creative Crew is there for.
Thanks again to Ryland for sharing his time for this video. Again, there's a lot of detailed videos that he has on his channel about all the stuff that we just looked at. So be sure to head on over there, check those out, give his channel some love, and check out the Creative Crew. I know I'm going to, because I bet there's going to be a wealth of knowledge in there. If you have any questions about anything that we talked about in this video, leave them in the comments, and I'll try to make sure that Ryland sees them if I don't have an answer for you. But thanks for watching till the end. We'll see you next time.